The art of war, attack by stratagem. It's best to win without fighting. Even if you fight 100 times and win 100 times, that's not the best way to go. The best way is to win without fighting. To win without fighting is to bend your opponent's will through diplomatic negotiations and to isolate them by dispersing their alliances. A sacrificial assault on a castle is the last resort. It is not wise to challenge a powerful enemy without considering the strength of your allies. Rather, the ideal tactic is to force your opponent to surrender without injury. Know your enemy and know yourself, and you will never lose. If you know yourself and don't know the enemy, you have a 50-50 chance of winning or losing. If you don't know the enemy and I don't know enemy will lose. War is solely an instrument of politics. It is the continuation of various political relationships and the execution of politics by non-political means. War is a means, and the end is political intent, and in any case, the means cannot be conceived apart from the end. The best method of warfare is to discern the enemy's intentions beforehand and strike them down. The next is to divide and isolate his allies. The next is to fight, and the last is to attack the castle, which is done when there is no other way. A good warrior subdues his enemies, but not by battle. He captures their castles, but not by assault. He destroys their countries, but not by earthly warfare. Thus, one can achieve complete victory without damaging one's army. This is the method of attack by wise strategy. A general is an aide-de-camp to a monarch. If the relationship between the general and the monarch is close, the country will necessarily be strong. Conversely, if there is a gap in the relationship between the two, the country will necessarily be weak. There are 3 reasons why the military is endangered by the monarch. The first is giving orders to advance when the army should not advance, and giving orders to retreat when the army should not retreat, which is to bind military behavior. The second is to interfere in military affairs without knowing the military's affairs, which will cause the soldiers to be confused and bewildered. The third is to interfere in the command of the army without knowing the military's skillfulness, and to give orders that are not in accordance with reality, thus causing distrust among the soldiers in the field. There are 5 ways to know victory. You win when you know what you can fight together and what you can't fight together. You win when you know how to operate with large and small numbers of troops. You win when the top and bottom are on the same page. You win when you think well and wait for the enemy to think poorly. If your generals are competent and your wages do not interfere, you win. Therefore, if you know your enemy and know me, 100 fights are not at stake. If you don't know the enemy and you know me, you win 1 battle and lose 1. If you don't know the enemy and you don't know me, you lose every battle.